Hello, how are you? If you are coming in and joining in the conversation, say hi. Let me know that you're here. Oh, hello, Tia. Hi, Erin. I saw you messaging me right before this. So, ah, I'm excited about this conversation today. So what's up? Yeah, what's up? How are you? How are you this day? How is your heart? I've been thinking I usually don't prepare for these usually don't prepare for these live conversations because I want them to be live and I want them to be authentic and I want them to be in the moment. And I was thinking though earlier, and since last week, actually, when I made this decision that I was going to talk about happiness. Hi, sweetheart. I got your message, and that's really awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. I was thinking about like happiness. What do you guys think about that? How did that land for you when I shared that was what I wanted to talk about today? What do you guys think of when you think of happiness? What does that mean to you? How do you know when you have it? Is it a thing that you get and that you hold? How do you know when you don't? How do you know that you're not happy? These are things that I've been thinking about. So I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love for this to be a conversation. I'm reading this book. I shared it with you guys maybe a couple lives ago. It's called Pussy, Reclamation. It's powerful. And the author was speaking in there about, so she runs a school, and she was speaking to her students and telling them to go home that night and behave as if the most important guest was coming over, like VIP coming over to your home, and move through your house as if that were the case, right? Would you clean? Would you sweep the floors? Would you polish the table? Would you put out flowers? Would you make sure that pictures are hung? What would you wear? How would you dress? And I just started thinking about how myself, I say things like, that's too fancy, right? Or I'm fine just to eat on this whatever dish. And so when I was getting ready today and I was looking at my earrings, I love these earrings. Like, I love them so much. And every time I wear them, they make me happy. And I rarely wear them because I feel like they're too fancy. And I just smiled as I put them on today. I thought today was a perfect day doing this live today, to put these earrings on, because for me now, happiness is about, it's self-created, and it's about doing things that feel good to me. And sometimes that's pajamas and fuzzy, cuddly blankets. And sometimes that's going to bed early. And sometimes that's coffee. And sometimes that's water. And sometimes it's big, sparkly earrings. Oh, Alicia, your heart is full. I'm so happy to hear that. Erin said, I am amazing. I've been marinating on a concept of happiness that requires uncertainty and a willingness to see life as an infinite rather than finite game. That's very, very wise. Yeah, happiness is a feeling of aliveness, I love that. Hello, those of you that are joining. I'm so happy that you're here. I agree, Erin. I think for me, sometimes it's easier, and I don't want to say that this is your experience, but sometimes it's easier for me to think about what something isn't to get to what it is, right? So for me, I reflect, I don't think I was fully happy in my life. There were areas of my life that I was happy. There were certain relationships where I felt some joy. But even as I say that, even as I hear those words come out of my mouth, I do wonder, is that even really truly true? Because is it, and I'm curious of your perspective here, is it on or off? Like, it can you tell me your thoughts here. Can you be happy in one area and not happy in another? And if you're doing that, if your answer is yes, then my follow-up question to that is, then is your happiness externally sourced? Meaning, I'm happy if these circumstances are met. I'm happy if these boxes are checked, right? I'm happy if I'm winning. I'm happy if I'm achieving. I'm happy if things are going good. But if things are not going well, then I'm not happy. And I will say, for me, that was absolutely my experience. See, I spent so much of my life putting my happiness in your hands, in other people's responsibility. I put that on your to-do list. It was your job to fix this, to make me feel better. And if I wasn't happy, and it wasn't conscious necessarily, but it was you, like you, I needed you to change for me to change. I remember hearing Will Smith he was talking about his relationship with Jada, where he said that he fired her from the role of his happiness, like being responsible for his happiness. Super empowering. So I want to know from you, how does this land for you? Do you believe that you can be happy in one particular area and then not in another? Or do you believe that it is all internally sourced? So if you are happy, that's going to infiltrate all areas of your life. I am truly, hello, Michelle Lane. I'm truly curious about this. I actually don't have any answers at all. I'm not looking for anything. And the other thing is, if you're not sure, I still want you to engage and communicate, because I think there's a lot of us who feel like we have to have the answer right and we have to sound smart from our judgment before we actually say anything. So it's okay to not know something. It's okay to be like, you know what, I'm not really sure. A lot of these concepts are things that I never actually thought about before. So when we start to think about what are the elements of happiness, or what are you using to define that, for most of us, and maybe this is not you, but for most of us, this is some of the first times that we're hearing these concepts. And so it's okay to talk out your thoughts. It's okay to not have the answer, and it's okay to have one answer now, and then 20 minutes into this live, have another answer. Permission to change your mind. So somebody give me something. Happiness that is external always fades. Agreed. That I 100%, that's it. I 100% agree. Because we need everything to stay. So then, I was talking to one of my clients earlier today, who actually just texted me. I was talking to one of my clients earlier today, and we were talking about how when we're dependent on other things, we can get it, right? Like Lachelle just said, like we can get it, but then, and the reference we were using in her conversation, it was like, but she had built this straw house, and so then you have to like put up a big, huge, giant, massive armored fence to keep anybody out, any air, any wind, like a big bubble, because heaven forbid there was anything that came in to possibly blow over the straw house, then it would all fall down. And when we are outsourcing our happiness, I mean, that's how it is. And then we just get exhausted. At least I got exhausted trying to hold up the armor and hold up the bubble and plug any holes. Heaven forbid my straw house fall down. Lanye, hello. I think happiness can come from counting blessings, focusing on the good going on in your life. Yeah, I don't have any of this data, and maybe some of you that are listening to this do, but I am pretty positive that there has actually been scientific evidence to prove that gratitude increases our happiness. And I mean, the way our brain works, it's designed to keep us safe. It's actually not programmed for our growth and our happiness. Like that's actually, to my understanding, that's not the function of the brain, right? It's legit not what it's designed to do. So when we are, I'll use myself as an example. So a couple of weeks ago, I had an expectation for something to happen in a certain way, and it didn't. Someone else changed their mind. Can anyone relate to that? Like you have this all planned out, you have an exact course mapped out of how you're gonna get from here over to here, and all you need is everybody along the path to do what they said they were gonna do. Anybody have that experience? Please tell me that I'm not the only one. So in this moment, I had these, lie to me, like tell me like, no, you're not alone, even if you think I am. This is my ego here. So in this moment, I needed everybody to do what they said they were gonna do for me to get the thing that I wanted. And then it fell through and didn't go the way that I wanted. So my expectations weren't met, which led to my disappointment, which led to my story of, comparing myself to every single person around me who I was judging was doing better than me. And in that moment, like we're gonna find answers and evidence to support our story, and we're gonna feel like crap if we're looking for all the ways that we suck and that our lives suck and that we're a loser. Michelle said, I have lived this and I would agree. In my darkest times, what got me through was focusing on what I was grateful for instead of all going wrong. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And here's the thing, I don't know if anybody else has done this, but sometimes for me, my brain can make me think that I have to have big things to celebrate, right? I have to have massive, like things that I've judged and pre-planned as wins, right? Like I have to like be grateful for achieving this thing or getting this like, big promotion or amount of money or whatever. But sometimes in those moments, like Michelle was saying, in those darker moments, we have to focus on small things that are actually really powerful and there's so much that happens in our lives that we don't even think about. We don't think about the fact that there are hands, that somebody's hands either built the machine that built this bench that I'm sitting on, or actually built the machine, like somebody's energy went into this, or the floor that we're walking on, or the air that we're breathing. And if you really looked at what a miracle it is that we're alive on this planet in general, there's so much to be grateful for. The fact that if you can speak, if you can see, if you can hear, if you can take a breath, if you woke up today, and sometimes we have to be like really bring it all the way back to find those small moments. And what happens to your brain is that when you tell it to find things to be grateful for, then it goes on a hunt to find more. Yeah, I love this so much. Gratitude is the key. Yeah, and you know what, Michelle, you're right, because I'm glad she said that, right? So we're talking about we have to work at it, because sometimes the deal is this, and I'll just speak for myself because, and I can say, Lachelle said this because she put herself in this conversation. It has to be there are some people that have their habits totally automated and things just run. And I think if that's you, like, I celebrate you and that's amazing. For me, it takes a conscious and consistent effort. It takes those moments where just a couple weeks ago, I was deep in my, like, shit, I was pissed. I was angry. Like, I punched, I yelled, like, I didn't hit a human, but like, I was, like, angry. This is just a couple weeks ago. And I've cried a ton of times since then. And I've been in irritation. And there's been moments that I've totally honored my boundaries and I've been super good about all of that. And there's been other moments like today, this morning, that I just am like, oh, well, that didn't go the way I was hoping it would. And it's a conscious, it has to be a conscious decision on a, I believe, moment to moment basis of what am I going to choose right now? What am I going to make the choice to be right now? Am I going to choose to suffer, or am I going to choose to be happy? And all of this, my friend, it stems from the story that we're telling ourselves, right? Because we tell the story, then we think certain thoughts, then we feel certain ways, and then we behave in the way that we behave. And most of us think it goes, certain thing happened, and then immediately I feel a certain way. But there are choices in between that we have control over. And I believe we have to, it's deliberate. I absolutely believe that. I have to be intentional with it. It's not something that I have automated. Yeah, it's a daily practice, especially when we're in it deep. There's something that really works for me. I did this. I did this recently. That I started to create like a recovery recipe where I really looked at, because here's the thing, in these moments where I feel good, it's easy for me to be like, go for a walk, get outside, breathe fresh air, list 5 things that you're grateful for, move your body, right? Like in this moment, I have awareness of what would serve me, but when I'm deep in my stuff, I forget everything. Does anyone else do that? Like when you're in your emotions or in your feelings, does your mind go blank and you just totally forget everything that you know at other times? Or is that just me? Because for me, it is, yeah, my mind goes blank. I'm like, what was that thing that I was supposed to do? How is it that I get to feeling better? And so there's a couple things that help with this. Number one, having tribe or having people, like having your support system to help bring you back. And number two, having it actually written out, right? So I have a list that's my like feel good recipe, and it has quite a few things on it, right? It has listen to music, it has take a nap. Actually, I think it says go to sleep. It has go outside, it has move your body, it has sing, dance, call a friend, journal. There's probably some other things on there, but those are the things that come to mind right now. And what's nice is that in those moments when I'm in my stuff, I can actually look at that, and then I have, oh, okay, I could do that thing. And sometimes I don't feel capable of jumping. If I'm like super in my shit, it's hard for me to go from there. It's hard for me to go from there all the way to like, I'm grateful that I could take a breath, because sometimes in those moments, it's like snarky gratitude. I don't know the scientific backing to if snarky gratitude is okay. But sometimes I need to have other things to do first, right? So sometimes I just need to go to sleep. Like for me, sometimes I'm like a kid and it's like, you know what, just lay down, just close your eyes and let's try this again in 45 minutes when you wake up. Other times I can play music and move in my body, helps shift the energy. And then when I have the energy shifted, now I can move to gratitude. Sometimes it's going for a run or going outside and watering my plants and just being in nature and taking a breath. Sometimes it's just 5 minutes where I close my eyes and sit quietly. And you have to, I think, have different options for yourself, because if you only have one thing, if gratitude, which is great, is the only thing, and from where you are over here, you're not able to automatically shift over to the gratitude, then it becomes like all or nothing, So my invitation is to find other little mini steps along the way. Yeah, you forget everything too, Alicia. Awesome. It's like, do I not know that? Wait, didn't I just teach somebody about this? Yeah, and those times I want to whine and stomp. And you know what? Let me be real. I don't think that's on my feel-good list, but I should add that. Sometimes, for me, I absolutely love a good temper tantrum. And I'll throw one. I don't throw long ones, but I will throw one. I will stomp my feet. I have been known to pound my fists and say things like, it's not fair, right? Okay. I think anything that is shifting the energy in you is helpful. I'm also known to scream at the top of my lungs. One of my favorite things to do is to go in the car, to turn up music and yell. I've also done it in the street, and as long as my dogs aren't here, I will do it in the house. It scares them, so I don't like to do it. But shift the energy. I'm so happy to know that I'm not the only one that my mind goes blank. Sheila, when you say you go into server mode, do you mean into like service mode or something different? I'm curious about that. Please share. Alicia said snarky gratitude is probably better than nothing. Absolutely, I could see that. For me though, I get super stubborn, and I find it sometimes challenging. And I think it's okay every now and again to be a brat. If you are being that way, and when I say that, I use that word to describe myself in my throwing of a temper tantrum. Because when I hear myself doing that, then I recognize, is this a behavior that I want to continue? And like so many of you have shared in the comments earlier, then you have a moment-to-moment choice. And sometimes I do very proudly own the fact that I'm going to throw a fit right now. So, and even in that moment, if you're owning the fact that you're throwing the fit by choice, you can be empowered in your disempowering temper tantrum. Yeah, it's not fair, and it can always be worse. That's real. And for me, in those moments where I am in my stuff, I don't want to hear that. So thanks. Oh my gosh, Michelle, I can't even imagine trying to skip while you're pissed is hilarious. Oh my gosh, an angry skipper. That's funny. Oh, Sheila, you go into survivor mode. Yeah. Sometimes it does. And you know, this is what you have to check in. There's no, I don't think, answer, right? I don't believe there's a key to happiness. And my recommendation is don't buy anything from anybody who's trying to sell you that. There's not a guide to it. There's not a, well, let me not say that. Hold that thought. There's not an this fits everybody guide. So what I mean by that is if you're working with somebody to help find your happiness, I think that's different. And for me, I believe it's our natural state. I believe that it is who we are at the core. And so I believe that our work is about removing everything that is not that joy. And something that was actually really powerful and profound for me in doing that, in making that shift, was really understanding my values and the things that were important to me, and assessing if really the things in my life were supporting the things that were the most important to me. Not most important based on what other people told me I was supposed to have or goals that other people gave me, but most important for me, because having a life and creating a life that's in alignment with the things that are the most important to you, that to me is the easiest way to tangibly increase something that can be so intangible and kind of elusive, like happiness. That's more of an individual conversation. Yeah. Try this guide as an invitation versus, hey, this is the way. I just don't believe that there is. And I used to search for one. I used to search for the answer for the one size fits all, which I don't think I've never seen anything one size fit anyone. How-to guide. I used to want someone else to tell me, because I think it was twofold, maybe more. One, if I tried their thing and it didn't work, then it could be their fault and not mine. And then two, if they just told me what I had to do, then I didn't have to dig inside, right? I didn't have to dig deep. I didn't have to look at my own self. And a lot of us, I think, can get into habits and live a life that served us at one time and brought us a lot of joy at one point, but isn't really making us happy anymore. And my friend Sean says, one of the saddest things, and I agree with this actually, is when we allow our head to convince us that we're happy when we're not. But that requires looking in. And it requires, I think, quiet. And when I say quiet, I just mean outside sources, outside sources of influence and feedback, just quieted down and checking in and getting to know you and what makes you happy. What does happiness even mean to you? And not using Google or anyone else to create your own definition. Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to do that because it sounds hard. Yeah, Michelle, I agree. It's the same concept. The weight loss, the exercise, the morning routines, it's all individual. We're humans. And we're all different with different habits and patterns and desires. And there just isn't, I mean, there are general concepts, but if you really want the results that you say that you want, and I say you, I mean like society, right? If you really want to be happy inside of this conversation, then you got to be willing to look at you, and you got to be willing to look at the choices and the things that you're doing that aren't bringing you joy. I remember, I think I did this, maybe it was last year. I don't remember when, but I know that it was last year. I remember making a list of stuff that I love and then stuff that I don't love, right? Like, what do I really enjoy? What feels good to me? What kind of clothes do I, like I did everything, right? What kind of clothes do I like to wear? How do I like to feel in my body? What kind of workouts do I actually like to do? What kind of movies do I like? What kind of books do I love to read? Do I actually like to get up early, or am I just doing this because I think everybody else does? Do I enjoy actually drinking? Do I love coffee? Or what? Like, what do I love? And for me, this was a beautiful journey that is still going, of actually getting to know me and who I am, and not who I think you want me to be, but who I am and what feels good to me and what I like and what what my turn-ons are, what kind of flowers I like, and what lights me up and what makes me excited. And for most of us, we have no effing clue. And we've spent, for so many of us, what's that movie? Is it Notting Hill where Julia Roberts and the eggs? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Somebody help me out. What, no Google? Is that the one where she's like, she always eats her eggs in this way? You can't tell what's happening on my shirt. She always eats her eggs the way that like the guy that she's with likes her eggs. She likes her eggs the same way that he likes his. I think it's, I don't know. Anyway, y'all tell me what movie that is. I know it's Julia Roberts. So I think that for most of us, it has to be a deliberate choice to get to know our own self and to say, I'm worth this. I'm worth taking out on a date to dinner and ordering what I want and seeing what I like and allowing yourself to explore that and explore what it is that makes you happy. Because most of us, especially, nothing meant against men at all, but especially as women, we are and have been for generations denying our own pleasure from ourselves, and we are the ones that we're waiting for, and we're spending so much time believing that if we just take care of everybody else, then eventually one day some, I don't know, shit will fall from the sky and bestow upon us all of the owed us time that we've sacrificed for all of these years, and it's never going to happen. You are the one that you're waiting for. You have to learn how to care for yourself first. I posted a blog article earlier this week and I said, dead last is killing you. It's just slow. And so you don't notice. Yeah. Runaway bride. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I spent my whole life doing it until recently. Sacrifice always ends in loss. Always. It's, yeah, it always ends in loss. And selfish, to me, and you're allowed to make your own definitions, I totally celebrate that. But to me, selfish is not a cuss word. And it's a conversation that I have with myself regularly because I do have a desire to care for other people. And I have to, for my own sanity, check in with myself and ask, why are you doing this right now? Where is this coming from? Is this because you believe that you're supposed to, or because you want people to think a certain thing about you? Or is it because it is your true heart's desire? And those voices are sometimes super hard. They're super hard to differentiate because they sound so similar. Yeah. Yeah, until the past 2 years. Congratulations, Michelle. And I would imagine, and maybe we can talk about this tomorrow, I'm going live on Facebook with my friend Michelle Lane here tomorrow. It's in my calendar, but I don't remember the time right now, sister. So if you remember, please post it in the comments. But maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. We'll see what comes up. But if we put our happiness in the hands of other people, if we put our joy and we put our peace of mind in the hands of other people, it's not fair. They didn't ask for that job anyway, and they're not equipped. It never was them. It's always been you. You got to find what feels good. And the only way to know that is to explore that with yourself, right? Like you gotta play with different wake up and go to bed times. You gotta look at exploring different foods and different conversations and friendships, and you gotta check in with yourself and notice, like, do I feel good around this person, or do I not? Do I feel good in these conversations, or do I not? Do I enjoy watching this kind of television, or do I not? Do I enjoy eating at this hour, or actually do I not? And so many times we just get into habits and we get into routines that at one time did serve us, but we have, and I'm using that word very intentionally, if you, let me say this, if you want to be happy, you have to be deliberate and consciously continuing to ask the questions, checking in with yourself. What feels good to me right now? What do I want right now? And be willing to try stuff on. I mean, come on. Has anybody ever put on a shirt and then been like, ugh, I don't want to wear this, and then take it off? Have any of you ever done that? All right, live together, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. This is tomorrow with Michelle. Yeah, one of my smart friends. So for me, I do that all the time. So I will go to put something on and I'm like, nah, this doesn't feel right. And I take it off. And I don't think anything of it. I throw stuff back in the closet, I fold it up, I hang it back up, or I just toss it on the bed. And I try different things on until I find what feels good. And in those moments where I found what feels good, it's like this, yes, I can settle into it because it feels good, right? It's in alignment. It feels good on my body, feels good on my skin. And sometimes these are clothes in my closet, all of which at some point in time I actually have loved, but don't always feel good. And my invitation to you is to give yourself the same permission with all the other life experiences. Stop trying to figure out if something or someone is going to make you happy before you try them on, right? So, maybe that's have a conversation with a person, or maybe that's go to coffee with that friend, or go on that date, or try that business, and allow yourself to just see and trust that you'll know if it doesn't. And if when I say that to you, you notice in your body like a resistance and a tension and like, oh, I don't know, then get yourself some support, because the happiness, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I am trying to be real. The happiness and the trust and the love and the approval, these are all internally sourced. And so if you are feeling resistance and feeling tension and feeling anxiety when I talk about, like, just try it and see. My broad statement would be that that's probably because you're guarantees before you take an action, and that's not possible. And so we want to do some work to help you heal your relationship with your reflection, with the person that you see when you look in the mirror, so that you can have more permission to go out and explore without fear of the self-judgment. Aw, yay. I'm one of your smart friends too. Haha, I love it. So I always block out an hour, and I'm more committed to you than I am to the hour. So do you have any questions about happiness? Do you have any questions about anything that you've heard me share thus far? Any experiences you want to share? Any thoughts at all? Please let me know. I'm happy to address them. I think that you can experience an emotion moving through you, like anger, and still be in a place of like self internal joy and happiness. Do you guys think it's either or? All right, so Michelle asked me, what was your biggest surprise in self investigation toward? I don't understand that question. Will you ask? I'll answer your other one. And if you would explain that for me, maybe I'm not reading it right, or maybe there's a word missing. But what makes my heart happy? Gosh, joy in other people makes my heart happy. So seeing my one dog, Abby, roll around in the yard with a smile on her face because she loves the grass, that makes my heart happy. Real conversation with my friends, that makes my heart happy. Comebacks make my heart happy. Like those moments in like movies, right, where like the underdog like has their moment. That makes my heart happy. The flowers on my porch outside, that makes my heart happy. And me, Michelle, I make me happy. Yeah. I won't lie to you and say that it's every single hour or every single second of every single day. But I'm really, really proud of the woman I see when I look in the mirror and how she shows up in the world and how far she's come. And she makes my heart happy. Yeah. This conversation with you guys, my tribe, that makes my heart happy too. Yeah. And then blankets that are like just out of the dryer. I love those. Oh, put them together. I totally did not. I went rogue. What was your biggest surprise in self-investigation toward what makes your heart happy? That's hilarious. Hey, Sabrina. That's hilarious. Thank you, Alicia, for trying to help. I just went off on a beautiful gratitude list. What was my biggest surprise in self-investigation toward what makes my heart happy? That if it was meant to be, it was up to me. Yeah. And I say surprise, like more of like a, oh shoot. At the time that I learned, it was kind of like a, oh, well, oh, okay. And then like a full ownership of that. So that piece was probably the biggest surprise for me, honestly, that it was my job. And a lot of times I don't love that phrase, actually. Like, if it was meant to be, it's up to me. But in this case, I really do. Like, that it's everybody else, every other circumstance, everybody else is off the hook. Like, if I don't feel good and feel enjoyed, that's a me problem. And I love that, because then I have the power to do whatever I need to do to fix it, to phone a friend, right? Or move my body, or be in gratitude, dance, or listen to music. So yeah, that was probably one of the biggest surprises, and how simple it actually is. Yeah. My brain tried to make me feel like it was super complicated. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, there's something that's so freeing when you just recognize that it's you. There's something that is scary about putting down the blame and the victim story in order to own the fact that your comfort and your safety and your happiness, all of it, like, it's all you. And there was many a moment along my journey where I was like, that can't really be right. Like, sometimes, okay, like, most of the time it's me, but like, sometimes people are just, they're just jerks, right? Like, sometimes. And I'm not interested, quite frankly, in arguing the accuracy of that statement. What I know for sure is that if those things are internally sourced, then I'm in control of the one thing on this whole entire planet that I have any control over, which is this chick right here. And so if it's a me problem, then I am able to create a solution. And if everybody else has to change, and I'm allowed, like we talked about earlier, to throw my temper tantrum and be pissy or throw a hissy fit, that's fine. But if I wanted to feel better, and that's ultimately what the choice is. Do I want to stay in, let's be clear. Like, for me, I believe that my spirit has an infinite life. But me in this body, as this manifestation of this human, I'm not going to live forever in this form. So how much time do I really want to spend in anger or in irritation or in throwing a temper tantrum or any other emotion that isn't feeling good? Like, in the limited time that I have, in the not being promised 5 seconds from now, let alone tomorrow or a year from now, why am I going to put any of that off? And why am I going to waste? Literally, it's wasting time. If I look at it like crystals of sand in the hourglass, how many of them am I going to slide over to the side of angry and miserable before I say I only have a limited amount, and these are for happy? So I let a couple slip out, and that's fine, but I'm going to get control back. And if I have to depend on you to get that control back, I'm screwed, and I don't like that feeling. So if I have to take responsibility for me, right? That's not saying take responsibility for all the humans on the planet, but if I have to take responsibility for me and for my happiness and for my joy, if it is up to me, then I can fix that. But if I have to stop you from taking away my sand grains, I'm in trouble. That's not a game that I want to play. So I just personally choose to believe that it is me source. And then from that place, I'm less impacted and affected by what it is that you do. If I don't feel good, it's usually because I'm telling some kind of bullshit, disempowering story. And if I'm the storyteller, I can tell a new story. I have the power to do that because I'm the one telling the story. If I've taken ownership of your story and your truths and I'm making them mine, then I need you to create a new story and I need you to tell me a new story before I can feel better. And all that, that's just mess. I'm not trying to do all that. It's a me problem. Yeah. I mean, it like, and sometimes it's like, really? Like, are you sure? Are you sure it's not them? Because like, kind of like, I don't feel this way. Like, I love my in-laws, but you know, you hear people say like, yeah, but my mother-in-law is whatever. Like, okay, it's a you problem. Well, yeah, but my brother, okay, but it's a you problem. Okay, yeah, but they did this thing. Okay, but it's a you problem. And that means that it's a you solution. And that's where the power is. I don't even really want to spend that much time focused on the you problem. I want to talk about the you solution. So what can you do? And that's how you do what Sheila just said, which I love. Reclaim your happiness. I love that. Yeah. If the pen is in your hand, you can write a new ending. That's it. If somebody else has got the pen, you got to like tackle them and grab the pen and take it back and then write it. And then you got to protect and make sure no one else steals your pen. It's you. It's all you. Yeah, are you sure? I want it to be them. I remember like legit, this was like a year ago, saying those words of like, actually what I said was, I know everything is like a me problem. Like I know that. This is how smart I am. I was like, I know that, but I mean, really, sometimes people are just assholes. Like that's what came out of my mouth. Yeah, but sometimes it's them. Just because you have a lot of evidence to support your blame doesn't mean it's not blame. And those are those, for me, humbling moments where I recognize I gave my happiness away. They didn't take it from me. I gave it to them. And then we can do what Sheila said, which is reclaim it. And that can only happen when you're the power source of your happiness. That doesn't, like, people sometimes will ask me like, okay, so are you saying that their behavior was right or wrong? I'm saying I'm not interested in having that conversation. I'm saying my advocacy is for your happiness. So what choice do you want to make? I mean, because meanwhile, you're just flicking those grains of sand to the other side. I don't want to live a life like that. Okay, yeah, Michelle, we're going to do like a 4-hour Facebook Live. Yeah, I do remember your problem with your friend. Yeah, it's them. Like, I mean, she's messed up, right? Like she did this thing. Let me tell you all about how she did this thing. Okay. It's fine. It's just, what kind of conversation do you want to have? Ultimately, it's just a choice. Yeah, and love the you solution. I agree, Sabrina, obviously, like, because, and I know you and I have had many a talk over this over the years. It's just, do you want to be empowered or not? I mean, that ultimately is, that's the choice. Yeah. Are you giving your happiness away? People say that. They took that from me. No, you gave it. You gave it to them, which is fine. Recognize that and then take it back. I'm not saying I don't do these things. It's that I recognize when it's happened and like, oh, okay, I'm over here in this old habit and this old pattern of behavior. Oh, okay, I see what I did there. Let me come back. And it's all on me. It's all on me. So I feel like I'm gonna have to clear like my whole day to talk with Michelle Lane tomorrow. So let me know. I'll be here for a few more minutes if you have any more questions at all, any more comments. I pray that this served you well. If you think it'll serve somebody else, share it. I'm gonna get it up on YouTube, so it'll be up there, and I'll post the link when that happens. I love these conversations. What I'm doing right now is once a week, I'm doing the Ask Me Anything. And then I'm also doing real conversations, real talk with real people is what I'm calling it. And I'm learning how to get everything uploaded to be the podcast. So if you are a real people and you want to have a conversation with me live, send me a message. I'd love to talk with you. It's not scripted, and I talk to my friends frequently, and the words, damn, we should have recorded this, come out of either my mouth or the person that I'm speaking to's mouth regularly. So I just decided, prompted by my own desire and confirmed by another one of my smart friends, to start the podcast. So that's where it's going to start. And so there'll be multiple times to tune in with me during the week. Ask Me Anything will be one of them. And then, I don't know, do you guys like that? I think that's what I was calling it, like real talk with real people. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Ooh, 6 comments. Yeah, you gave it to them for real. Ow! I just answered your question, Erin. I didn't give you a specific date, though. That I don't know. I'm learning about the editing and all of that stuff, but I am taking action steps toward making that happen. And that's the format that I'm going to start with. Because what makes me happy is not following the rules, and not just not following the rules, like that in of itself makes me happy, but I was talking to another one of my smart friends, and she shared with me, in listening to me speak about what lit me up, was that these conversations, right, these Ask Me Anything calls, Facebook Lives, I don't know why I call them calls, these Ask Me Anything lives are like what pump me up, and I get like fired up for the rest of the day. Or I can talk to one of my friends, and we can, 3 hours can go by, and it's like powerful conversation that I get off the phone, and I'm like, yes, right, I'm so fired up, or I'm inspired, and I go into like creative mode because there were so many like truth bombs or nuggets that were dropped, or I record a video because I was so inspired by what they brought out of me. And I was talking to my friend Candace, and we were both like, well, wait a minute, why don't we make this conversation the podcast? Like, it doesn't have to shift or be anything different. So that's where it's going to start, and I'm really excited about it. So you guys are going to be a part of it, which also makes me really excited. And to answer Michelle's question from earlier, that makes my heart happy. So yeah, what Erin said, podcast please, I answered your question. Yeah, I know, I'm really excited. I love, hi Moshe, I love I love the idea of, here's the thing. I think if we're doing something and it does follow the rules and it also makes us happy, then that's fine. But I choose happy over the rules. I choose happy over what's supposed to be. I choose happy because I choose me. And I choose me not to be like a bitch or to not choose you. And that's the thing that I think I had to learn and understand, and I think a lot of other people have to do that too, is that me choosing me doesn't mean I'm not choosing you. Like, our needs can all be on the same platform, but what I know for sure is that when I'm lit up and when I'm inspired and when I'm happy, y'all, I'm better for everybody. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I feel the same. I feel the same way. I really, truly, based on everything I just said, I hope that you know how much I love and how much I value this conversation and the connection and the community. This makes my heart happy, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you showing up and spending your hour with me, or your 30 seconds, or your 15 minutes, or anywhere in between. I know time is valuable, and it means the world to me that you chose to hang out. So I look forward to coming to you soon. Michelle Lane and I are going to be on live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So she's going to get up early to talk to me, and we're going to chat about head talk and the inner critic and whatever else is on our mind. So I hope you join in that conversation, and I pray that you are well and that you do something today that makes your heart happy. I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye now.